right, here we go.
Let's see. I gotta find that quote.
All right, all right. Welcome to the YouTube exclusive episode 14 reaction show.
Let's
You
go.
are now listening to the ReVerb Experiment podcast. This is G_focused. We got Steph.net in the building.
What's good?
And we got Photo B, the busy Photo B.
Hey, it's always nice for me to be able to join in, right?
It's always good, man. How was y'all's Thanksgiving real quick before we, get into the topics?
Thanksgiving was smooth. I was able to, kick it with the fam, enjoy some time with some people, drink, be merry. You know how it goes.
Same. Kept it real small. I didn't even honestly, you know how they be like, oh, what you finna wear to the living room? I ain't even really waste my time. I'm like, it's only finna be 5 of us. I don't need no living room outfit this year, bro.
No, I put on my rich uncle sweater. The one that's kind of like buttons all the way up and ties up and looks like folds down, looks like a turtleneck up top.
Yeah. Were you the drunk uncle?
No. Just the rich one.
Just the rich one. Okay.
You could be both.
Hey, true, I saw niggas posting in roller skates talking about, oh man, I can't wait to be the drunk uncle to be in there skating and drinking on yak. I was like, man, get out of here with that, man.
Nah, none of that.
I wasn't even a drunk auntie, honestly. I really was I was tired as hell. Like, because this was the first time of me having to actually like contribute a dish. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is too much. And we walked the 5K in the morning. So
I was tired.
Yeah.
You was tired. Yeah, I believe you. I got you. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool for us, man. It was just, to us, it was kind of a regular Thanksgiving because we usually keep it small anyway. And then we'll get it later for like bigger family. But this year we just kept it small, kept it simple, you know what I mean? So it was all good. But we don't want to keep the people that are on here waiting, listening. So we want to go ahead and get into the topics, man. So episode 14, we talked about a lot. We talked about Black identity. We talked about Jeezy versus Gucci. We talked about the Will Smith and OG Aunt Viv reconciliation. And we did not get a chance to talk about Erica Campbell's comments about sowing whole seeds. So before we get to that, because that's probably going to take up the majority of our conversation, you want to just get thoughts on the episode. I think the Black identity was really good, but the Jeezy versus Gucci conversation, I think, got a lot of attention, got a lot of people buzzing and talking about it. So me and Rajo got into a little bit. Shout out to Raj, man. He's out there taking care of family business. But I want to get y'all thoughts really, really quick, and then we're gonna get to the other topic. Because I'm on Twitter right now, and Summer Walker is going in on London on the Track. We're gonna talk about that after we talk about the Erica Campbell.
Got to. Well, with the Jeezy versus Gucci, it got real. Like coming into it, I feel like I was on the side of people was on Gucci's head too heavily, and thinking that he was supposed to be so elevated. And I'm like, I mean, y'all got to give Gucci at least a little bit of credit. But after the conversation, I felt what you was saying as far as we cannot want better for these rappers and for Black people and Black men as a whole, but keep on perpetuating this street code and no forgiveness and not letting shit go and all of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I feel both sides because a part of me, like, I want to be Jeezy so bad. Like, oh, let's just drop it and be cool. But I know I still got my Gucci ways, bro. Like, it's still deep in. Like, I ain't letting nothing go. Okay?
Right.
So it's kind of hard.
Right. Yeah. I after listening back to the episode, I think some of the things I was trying to convey did not convey correctly. Some of them did, but some of them didn't. I think. And afterwards, I listened and I saw Gucci even posted. He said, "I did it for the culture." So we were like, "Oh well, Gucci was just there just to kind of rile things up, which I mean, I think he was because he felt some kind of way, but the way he left it, he was like, I was still doing it for the culture. So he still understood the importance of the moment too. So I would never tell somebody that you should feel a certain way and act a certain way. Everybody goes through their own trauma. Everybody goes through their own situations. I have more respect for Gucci because like how we were calling, or Raz was calling Jeezy a sucker. My thing of it was you got to keep the same energy for Gucci, because if you're saying it's street code that I would never be in the same room with somebody that killed my partner, well, you have to then feel the same way about Gucci because Jeezy put a hit out on his head. So why would you? So if Jeezy's a sucker, then you got to take that he's a sucker too, because you in the same room with somebody that wanted to have your chain snatched or you get killed, whatever. So I give props to both of them because it took a lot of maturity to be in the same room as everybody else. And I think, they were looking at, he was looking at it as, oh, I would never do business with somebody that wanted to hurt me. I wasn't looking at it like that. I was thinking like, if the business that you're doing is going to help other people get over their situations and help people come to peaceful resolutions, that is what's best for the culture. So to put your personal stuff aside and to say, I'm willing to do what's best for my people, I think that's admirable. Whether you want to say he's a sucker, whatever, the bottom line is that situation could have went totally different. And for them to piece it up at the end, even if they still don't like each other, I think it was a good example for how Black men should be towards each other. Because we always look at it like, oh, white people, white supremacy. But George Zimmerman is still living. George Zimmerman is still walking around. He ain't got a scratch on him. Kyle Rittenhouse is still walking around. He ain't got no scratch on him. But when we kill each other, then it's like, oh no, man, like he got to go, blah, 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 blah. So I'm just saying we got to have the same type of energy. And if we're able to forgive these white people and things that they do to us, then we have to also set the example that we got to keep that same energy for our brothers and sisters. So again, I totally get the street code. I get the street ethics. I understand what went on behind the scenes. But at the same time, we cannot say RIP King Von 1 week and then the next week say, oh, Jeezy's a sucker, Gucci's a sucker because they try to make peace. Those two things don't go together. If we either want peace and we want the streets to kind of die down, or we want to continue with the violence and things that we see and what our music endorses. And I think the other thing that I didn't get a chance to really say was Jeezy's music. You can see the maturity in his music because his single is called Therapy for My Soul. So you can see that he, for one, recognizes that he is the reason why his homeboy died. And I think he was trying to make amends. That was 20 years ago. So you go through a lot of things within those 20 years that pushes you to a point where you're like, all right, I need to get my soul cleaned up. Like I need to make amends. And I think making amends was doing that in front of the world to, again, make sure that there wasn't going to be another King Von or another Nipsey or another Pop Smoke that happened on his watch. So that's never, to me, that's never sucker shit. That's being a grown ass man and taking accountability for with the part you played in somebody else dying. Now, should have never put him in that position to begin with. But the bottom line is that you can't change that 20 years later. Now you got to start moving forward. And the way Gucci was starting was taking it backwards. But again, I give props for Gucci for even being in the room because he didn't have to be there either. And I give him props for dapping it up. So that's just my 2 cents. That
was more like 3, 4, 5 cents, but
it was. That was like $1.
That was a whole penny roll. What are you talking about?
That was like $1. I'll say I just got to clear up some things. You know what I mean? So Photo B, I know you've been out of commission because you've been busy doing your shoots and stuff, man. So what did you think about the battle?
I didn't actually watch the battle, but I mean, I definitely agree with you when it comes to understanding the street politics and the ethics of it at the same with that when it comes to like, yeah, I would have an issue with being in the same room with somebody who tried to kill me or kill my boy, whatever. But overall, the street ethics, that shit has to change because like a lot of it is actually, it's nonsense because most of the time you don't even know why you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole, eye for an eye thing, that's pretty much all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Once that shit changes in the culture, then I feel like things will be a lot better.
For sure.
That's pretty much all I gotta say.
No, for sure. Totally agree. The Will Smith versus Aunt Viv, not even versus the Aunt Viv reconciliation.
Versus.
I think we already touched on that. We don't need to go in depth on that. The one thing I did not realize, Alfonso left the room when she came in. And I saw a video where she was going in on him, saying that Alfonso was the one that was doing Will Smith's bidding. And he was the one, like, he was like his servant. They used to do all the dirty work. I didn't know them two had a problem. I didn't realize.
Yeah, they did.
Go ahead.
They did. I remember that they did have a problem, but I didn't really know too much of the details. Like, I be saying all the time, like, I wish we low-key had a shade room in the 90s. Like, it was so much tea that was not gathered because we just didn't have the resources like we have right now. But it was an issue with, like, she used to be on both of their heads. So
and I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. And then somebody pointed out to me, they was like, if you watch the clip back, when she comes in to greet everybody, Alfonso's out.
Like, so he ain't over it. He was Gucci. He ain't letting it go.
He ain't letting it go. No, he ain't letting it go. And I was like, bro, like, okay, so Will was able to let it go. Like, I would have thought that. And I thought before she came in, I thought Will asked them. He said, are you guys okay with her coming in? And I thought everybody shook their head and said, yeah. But evidently, Alfonso didn't feel that kind of a way. So hopefully they can reconcile at some point in time too. But the clip I heard, she was going in on him. I was like, dang, I didn't know it was that bad. But man, Carlton, man. Hopefully Carlton can, piece it up with Aunt Viv, man.
I feel like we need to like go back and have a shade room 90s. Like, somebody got to go back and gather all that tea that we missed.
Yeah. I was kind of, like I said, I didn't even realize that it was even that deep, man. But again, praying for I'm all for healing and reconciliation. So hopefully they can get to it. I don't know if they have to wait to the 40th reunion or what. I don't know. But again, like what y'all saying though, sometimes it's just we can't reconcile. And sometimes we're not in the space to do that. And you got to respect that. So if they're not in the space to reconcile, you can't make nobody do something they don't want to do.
Right. But honestly, though, reconciliation does not mean we have to be cool or cordial. Like, I could forgive you and just not want to have nothing to do with you ever again. I'm gonna just leave you where you had me fucked up at, and that's just what it is. Like, it don't mean that it's necessarily funk. I just can't sit here and be, fake with it. Like, we're not cool.
Right.
We're just, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I think to me, reconciliation means things get put back to how they were. So I think like how you were saying, you can forgive somebody, but still agree to say, look, we just not cool. And we'll leave it at that. We already talked about it or whatever, or we acknowledge that there was a problem. And sometimes one person sees it one way, the other person sees it a different way, and you're going to agree to disagree. And it's okay to say, hey, look, we just can't resolve this issue. And we're going to just keep it like that. We'll keep it cordial and peaceful, but I can't rock with you like that. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, this issue, we're not going to come to a common ground on, and we'll just leave it at that. Because you're right. Not everybody is going, even if you want to reconcile, the other person may not want to, or vice versa. Or again, you may see a situation in a different perspective as the other person, and you just won't agree on it. And it's okay. Like, I don't get along with all my coworkers. It's fine. I can still work with you because it's for the greater good. But the bottom line is we ain't going to be going out to lunch. We ain't going to be kicking it. You don't be texting me. Like, you know what I mean? We just don't see eye to eye. And that's cool. But at least it's our issues don't make other people uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can put that to the side and I can put, whatever. So, yeah, I agree with y'all on that. So, Miss Erica Campbell, we didn't get a chance to talk on this. We're going to talk about it today. So, Miss Erica Campbell, I think it was on one of her podcasts. It was like a trailer for her podcast, upcoming podcast. She said, and I quote, You can't sow whole seed and reap marriage benefit. Your brain and body don't switch like that. You got to prepare your mind for marriage because it's a ministry. And that's kind of the end of the quote. And then, but a lot of people got just, you can't sow whole seeds and reap marriage benefits. And that was the quote that was floating around. So, because we ran out of time, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. So what are our thoughts on Miss Erica Campbell saying that you cannot sow whole seeds and reap marriage benefits? And again, there's a second half to that quote, but again, the quote that was floating around that most people saw was just that first sentence.
What does that even mean? You can't be out there living out your life and then decide you want to stop and then get married? Is that what you're saying?
I have my own interpretation of it, but I think you can look at it that way.
That's out. Like,
yeah, he's thinking about all of his whole seeds.
Okay, but I mean, if that means I can't get married, then I guess marriage ain't for me. But it's just like, how are you gonna tell somebody that like I can't enjoy my life? Then I'm like, you know what? I enjoyed that part. Now let me go ahead and find somebody I want to, enjoy the rest of it with. Like, that's selfish. Just say you don't want no man who's been around. Just say you don't want an experienced man. That's all.
Well, and let's give context. I think she was talking to women. I think it was directed towards women. I think the principle applies to everybody, but her direct quote was to women, because I think it was like she was giving advice to women who want to be married. So she was referring to women. But yeah, I think what you're thinking, I think, is along the lines of what she was saying.
She don't sound like a feminist.
That's the part that I have a problem with. Is I do believe that there is some truth to that. I feel like in anything that you do and you want to be successful at, that's what you need to be preparing for. So if it's marriage, whether it's whatever it is, but the problem that I have is I'm tired of this narrative only being pushed towards women, because more marriages would be successful if people was having the same energy towards men. Like men, like you can't just keep telling women, prepare for marriage, be what you want to be, but then men just out here being photo B. Like
Hey, whoa now. Hey, we're live. Hold on. Y'all gotta be cool.
Yeah,
Where the chill button at? Where the chill button at?
We were just talking about street ethics, and she on here dry snitching.
Right, like, hold up. Let me live my life.
He put his own stuff on blast.
Okay, but hey, like, but besides the point, okay. But no,
yeah, that was my problem with it, was that the message was geared towards women, and it needs to go both ways. Like we only prepare women for marriage, but we telling men to live your best life, and once you're ready, don't settle down till you're ready. But you want us to basically be practice wives all our lives. Like, nah, it don't work like that.
I can agree with that. I think the thing that I didn't like about it was, as soon as she said it, all the comments were like, but what about your husband? And it's like, how can you control what somebody else does? If they want to be a hoe and go cheat, your spouse or significant other cheating on you is not a reflection of you. That's their decision. That's what they've done. That's what, and like a lot, like I think like a lot of women think, oh, if I do this, if I do A, B, and C, he's not going to cheat. And in reality is, you can do A through Z and he still will cheat because of something that he is missing or something that he is trying to validate for or cover up or find some type of void, trying to fill that void. So I didn't like that. I don't like that we invalidate people's comments because of situations that they may have been. But the bottom line is, what she said to me was absolutely true. But I agree with Steph. It is absolutely true for both men and women. And I think for us as men, we don't have this conversation as often as we should. You cannot, and like the comment that she said, that your brain and body can't switch like that. You cannot be in and out of multiple situations with multiple different women, and usually in your life, what 4 or 5 women would satisfy you with, then all of a sudden you think, okay, now I'm going to find one woman that's going to satisfy what 5 women did for me previously. And I think that's what
Coach D'Lo said the same thing in the comments. He said, I feel like you do need to slow down before you get married. And he also said you can't just be messing with hella people, then boom, you're now comfortable with being with one person. So
exactly. Yeah, because again, you're expecting one person to fulfill what 5 or 6 people were fulfilling previously. And that's not fair on your spouse, because then you're looking at them to do all of this crazy sexual orientation, you know what I mean? Like, you trying to get them to fulfill every fantasy that you've ever had. And it's like, but you were practicing for polygamy, but now you want to be just settled down with one person. Or even if you've been with somebody, you live with them, broke up, kicked them out. Been with somebody, live with them, broke up, kicked them out. Live with somebody, kick them out. What you're really practicing for, you're practicing for divorce. You're practicing to continually be in a situation where you are in a relationship that is going to end and kick somebody out, and you're separating again. So again, like what you said, if marriage is your goal, then what behaviors and what patterns are you creating before marriage? And if you're sleeping with 6, 7 different kind of, women, you can't think that as soon as I say I do, that your brain and your urges and what satisfies you is going to change. It's going to be the same exact. You're still going to need that same 7 or 6 women that satisfied you before. And that's why entertainers and ball players and all these famous people have issues with marriage, because nobody ever was telling you no. You can have any woman, any man that you ever wanted. You can sleep with whoever you want. You had the money to get whoever you wanted. So now all of a sudden you think you can be married. And now it's like, okay, now this one person again is supposed to fulfill everything. But before, you had free reign to anybody and anything that you ever wanted. So you can't just switch like that. Like, there's your brain don't work like that. Your brain creates patterns the same way that we create patterns in our everyday life. So I think what she said was true, but I agree, it applies to both. And more or less, men, we don't have that conversation more or less with men. More or less, it's usually directed towards women, because like you said, women are from birth raised to be wives, and men are like, okay, boys will be boys, and whenever they're ready to settle down, then they'll settle down.
That's like literally my only problem with it. And that's why I usually automatically, I'm like, why do y'all do this? And it's always, but honestly, it's because women are raised like that, and we are told that from birth, that it's ingrained in us. So we spouting the same shit, you know what I mean? And not really seeing the issue with it. Not that it's necessarily wrong, but we're not seeing how one-sided it is, because shit, that's the norm now.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of one-sided, Summer Walker is going off, to say the least.
What is going on with that?
I'm going to read what she tweeted. It's pretty long, so just bear with me. So this is in reference to London on the Track, obviously. And Summer Walker's pregnant. So just to give some baseline. She said, Black men gotta start doing better when it comes to being a father. My grandfather, lame. My father, lame. And this nigga, lame. LOL. I guess the cycle will just continue. I guess niggas still dealing with the shackles of mental slavery or some shit. Back when white men ripped you from your families and beat you to death if you tried to protect them. It goes deep. Shit is really sad. Everyone ghetto. It was also ghetto. I tried to get him to spend time with his other kids as much as I could. He ain't want to, because he was selfish. I tried to get his baby mama to let him see the kids. They didn't want to, because they was bitter and hated me for no reason. I tried to get everybody to just get the fuck along like we big happy family, and instead everyone just shit on me, and now I just have the shit end of the stick because all of these motherfuckers is ghetto. But that's how it goes when everybody's spiritually, mentally underdeveloped. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Well, I guess I'll just put it all on an album, collect my millions, and be on my merry way. Then she also tweeted some other things like, I can't expose him, but I'm not going to. And then followed it up with those tweets. So, what are thoughts? Oh, Summer.
I mean, I feel bad because we just said that we shouldn't invalidate people's comments based on their situation. But I mean, her herself, she was going in on his baby mamas about the child support that they was asking for and criticizing baby mamas. And now you a baby mama in the situation and you see how whack this nigga is. And
like you should have already seen how it was.
Right. You should have already seen this nigga was whack with his other baby mamas. Like, I don't understand why girls get with dudes and then just think other baby mamas is crazy. Like, they believe everything the nigga tells them, my baby mama trash or whatever. And they always side with the baby daddy. Like, you just got here. You just met this nigga. The baby mamas obviously know something that you don't. You know, they not all lying on this nigga. So now everybody's ghetto, but shit, you signed up for it.
Isn't one of them bitter about it? Isn't that why he can't see one of his some of his kids because the one of them is bitter or some shit? Is that what she said?
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Said. I don't know the situation, but
well, I mean, like if she's talking about like she's better for like not letting them see the kids, but then it's also talking about how he's actually she's trying to get him to see the other kids, but he's not having it or some shit like that. Then I wouldn't doubt that it's because it's out of bitterness because she would just go ahead and just say it regardless. If it was
Coach D-Lo in the comments, he said the baby mama already spoke on it too and saying that Summer is lying as far as with the situation, I guess, with her being bitter or whatever. So
but she also said, Summer also said, I tried to get him to spend time with his other kids as much as I could. He ain't want to because he's selfish. So it's not just a baby mama.
Now she's saying it, but you already was saying that he wasn't. You couldn't get him to spend time with his other kids, but you gonna get pregnant, girl.
Right.
What part of the game is that?
Yeah.
Make sense.
That's the issue that I got is I don't understand women who sleep with men who don't already take care of their kids to begin with. What do you think is going to change when you have kids? And they can tell you all the stories and all the baby mama crazy and this and this and this and this and that. I'm sorry. Ain't nobody in this world that would keep me away from seeing my kids. Period.
We should have already knew she had issues when we figured out she don't take no showers.
Oh my goodness gracious.
She gonna be wiping that baby down with baby wipes.
Oh
nah, Lysol wipes.
Oh my goodness gracious. Don't do
Mr. Clean Sponge.
Like yo, I feel on the real, I feel bad for Summer, but she put herself in the situation. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I feel bad for the girl, but she knew what she was getting herself into because she saw the evidence. She saw who he was before. And me and Steph were talking about this prior to, is that y'all people gotta stop dating based on potential. You cannot be trying to find the best in people when they have already shown you who they are. You need to
she made money off of, what was the song? You got potential.
Yo, that is her song. Oh my God. I just pray that she has a healthy pregnancy because I know she deals with anxiety and I know that she got a lot of mental health issues. So I just pray that the baby's healthy. But like, you saw what he was about. You saw that he was not about his kids. So it's not going to be cool for you. And I just pray that she has enough mental capacity to be able to get through this. And I hate to say this because I know everybody else going to be thinking it. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but whatever album she about to put out, that shit about to be fire. That shit about to be fire. Anytime there's a breakup or trauma or issues, that shit is fire. Fire.
You know, it's gonna be one of the most quoted song albums ever.
Oh my God.
All the
look at it. Keisha Cole went downhill as soon as she got herself together, started, getting her mental health together. started
You
getting
can't
in
be
decent,
good.
non-toxic relationships and shit. All of a sudden, it was like, damn, what happened to Keisha?
Look, you can't be happy in R&B.
No, you can't. You can't. You can't because it produces because Trauma that produces the best all the albums that came from Breakup, Mary J. Blige, Confession, all went 8 times double platinum or whatever it was, or diamond, whatever it was. People want to hear issues because they got issues in their own life. And Photo B's right. This next album she got will be the baby mama anthem. I guarantee you.
Well, Coach D-Lo makes a good point in the comments. He said her whole career was with him. He was producing all her work, so she gonna have a whole new sound. Because who gonna produce her shit? Because all her shit was London on the track.
Producers will be lining up to work with Summer Walker.
That's
based
true.
on this, just because there's a story behind it and it's about somebody else that's in the industry. There will be interviews. There will be red table talks. There's gonna be Oprah gonna be sitting down with Summer. Like, people gonna be lined up for this because people are starving for the content. And I guarantee you, I would not be surprised if Summer Walker end up on Red Table Talk talking to Jada and all the therapists and all that other stuff. I guarantee I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. And I guarantee you, Summer gonna come out of this looking like this is gonna definitely excel her career. I'm not, again, don't want to think about it because she's human, but I just know how industry works. Industry will definitely they will be able to profit off of it. I mean, just look at Meg Thee Stallion. Her friend put out a diss track. I'm like, man, what is going on? The girl got shot. Yeah. And all y'all niggas is making music off of it. It's like Tory made music, Meg didn't put out the diss, and now the friend putting out a diss record. I'm like, see, that's their opportunity. So somebody's going to definitely capitalize off of this situation. And I would advise Summer Walker, for her own mental health, that she needs to keep that off of Twitter, and she needs to deal with that privately. But again, it's going to benefit her financially. I don't know about her family, so
I bet she probably not thinking about it like that at this moment.
Nah.
Because it's, what I mean, it's just raw emotion. But like she did end it with, I'm gonna just put it on an album and make my millions. So she know what it is. She know how the industry works.
You know what it is. She know what it is. And there's not who's to say that London on the Track, they won't make up and he won't end up producing the album. I can see that happening too, because they made up the breakup about 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So
I mean, look,
Jay-Z was on the album. Right. Jay-Z was on the album.
On the Lemonade. Yeah, he was on Lemonade. So
bless you. Corona.
Thank you. Allergies.
Oh man. So all right. So I think we kind of wrapped up, man, episode 14. The one thing we didn't get a chance to talk about that I thought, again, I want to shout out Jeremy Green for being a guest on the show. School psychologist, man, he dropped a lot of knowledge and just talked about Black identity and double consciousness and just how the school system sets you up not to embrace who you are as a person. Just want to encourage all the parents during this social distancing time, man. Just make sure you are definitely involved in you are paying attention and you are talking to and encouraging and being there for your children, because just as much as we struggling with this pandemic, as far as working from home and doing Zoom meetings and all that other stuff, these kids are going through some mental stuff too, you know what I mean? So man, shout out to D-Lo too, man. He in the comments going hard. What'd he say? I don't believe you, BJ. Oh, about the corona.
Hey.
But I do want to encourage you parents, man, just to be involved in your kids' lives as much as possible. Make sure you are uplifting them, you are encouraging them, that you are giving them positive affirmations. And again, because this pandemic is affecting everybody in different ways, you got to check in on your kids probably a little bit extra now, since they're doing the Zoom and social distancing and the, virtual learning and all that. So, but shout out to Jeremy Green. Shout out to Jeremy Green for being a guest on the show and giving us all the knowledge.
Appreciate it. Shout out to him.
All right. Shout out to Raggio, man, holding it down for the fam. And we appreciate y'all listening. And we're gonna see y'all for episode 15, which will drop next Monday morning. And we appreciate y'all for listening and tuning in on the Zoom. Anybody else got anything else to drop? Any thoughts or knowledge that they got from this last episode?
Yeah, I got something to say. Y'all gonna see me next week. I know y'all miss me. I know y'all miss me. About to be back on the G thing. I've been gone, been busy, but I'll be back, baby.
We taking your temperature at the door.
We need a negative coronavirus test before you walk into the door, for sure. For sure. All right, man. We holler at y'all later. We'll see y'all next Monday. And we appreciate y'all and thank y'all for listening. One.
We out.